All right, why is it not? Okay, recording. All right, great. So you guys are able to see my screen, I believe. So you see the PowerPoint here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
Just double checking. All right, that's not what we're doing, but. All right, so here we go. Should I your screen? Oops. All right, Google. All right, cool. What's this dog do? That's pretty funny. All right, I was just curious. I don't know what that was. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do in this session, I'm not sure if you guys can still see me or not, but what we're going to do in this section is I'm going to walk through, because this week's chapter is about cryptology, so it's talking about encrypting stuff. So just before we get started, just to kind of start having people think about it. So when you think of encryption, what do you think of from a security standpoint? Can you get anyone think of any examples of things that with cryptology that, let's say, can you think of any applications? When I say applications, it could be websites, it could be software, external software, whatever. Can you think of any examples, anything that uses cryptology? And it doesn't have to be applications, it could be something else. So I'll start off with one. So who here has a credit card or a bank card? Pretty much everybody, right? So they use cryptology, obviously because their information is encrypted. The technology that the banks use is a technology called MQ. It's a old school technology. It uses command line interface, basically the mainframe, and it's a technology that is used every time that you swipe your card. So obviously the information is encrypted. Those machines have to decrypt the information, send a communication using MQ. Most of us have heard of web services. So MQ is like a web service, but it's the next layer down. So web services are built up on top of that environment. So it's a way to send communication within seconds, milliseconds, whatever, because it's able to detect whether you have money. A good example is you go to let's say you have 1 cent on your credit card or your debit card, right? And you go to the gas station and you use your debit card. Most likely, those service stations are not set up to check to see if money on your account, and it will only you could go over. So if you do $50, it'll go over, it'll accept it, and you get a negative charge. But some of the newer gas stations like Sheetz, we call it Get-Go, because I tested it out. I wanted to see how it works. So I took a prepaid card that only had like $1 on it, and so I ran it to get gas, and it automatically came back and told me you only have $1 credit for gas, which was not even enough to get gas because it's over $1 a gallon. So it came back and said insufficient fees. So that's some newer technology. But anyways, they use cryptology. Can you guys think of anything else that uses cryptology? Come on, guys.
Computer password, maybe?
Password? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any type of password uses cryptology. Go in. What else?
Maybe like I don't know, like a social media website, like when you're logged in or something.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Social media could use it as well. What else? Anything else?
Did you say transaction by any chance?
I didn't.
Transaction? Okay.
Transaction could be tied to the whatchamacallit. What do you call it? It could be tied to the bank card. Cell phone uses encryption. Has anyone ever used VPN, virtual private network?
Yeah.
Yeah, so VPN, virtual private network, is another thing that uses encryption. So if you get a job anywhere, like most people that are working from home, they're using a VPN connection connecting to the network. Cell phone. you could have like Bluetooth devices. We're also using Bluetooth devices are also using some type of encryption because there's a security there. So those are all examples of that. All right, so getting into just to kind of bring that up, that would be more lecture thing, but I wanted to at least bring it up. So one of the first things that we wanted to do in this section is we want to download Python. Now I already have it installed, but I'll show you how to install it or where to get it at. So you could just Google Python, and you can find python.org, maybe. All right, cool. So based off of what you have, so like for example, it detects, I go to downloads, it detects that I have Mac OS X. I already have this installed. I'm not going to run it and execute it again because it's already here. But if you're running Windows, it should automatically detect it, and then you could just choose the latest and greatest, which is 3.86. So this would be step one. Download Python. It doesn't give you an editor, but it just downloads all the files that you need to run Python on your machine, whether you're using Windows or PC. Python is also, and the reason I'm using Python because we'll use it later on as well. And it's, like I said, it's a pretty powerful tool. Source code, I recommend it over what we're trying to accomplish. What we're trying to do, JavaScript wouldn't be the right tool for what we're doing. I know that's what we learned. I know that Mark teaches, Professor Vortman teaches Python in some of his classes. They might be the grad classes. I'm not 100%. He might also teach it in, does anyone have his business intelligence class, data analytics class?
I've had that. We
I
didn't
had
use it.
Did you guys do Python?
We just
No.
used pretty much Excel.
Oh, okay. I used Python. I guess I was mistaken. All right, so so this would be the first thing. Download this. Pretty straightforward. Next thing you want to do is, well, first of all, when you download it, you could go, whether you're running a Mac or a PC. So I'm using a Mac. I would go to Terminal. And if you're using a PC, you would just go to DOS. And you could type in python.v. And if you get something like that, then you know that Python's installed. So if you see right here, it pulls up like a command window. This right here is a window that I can actually execute files on. So this right here allows me to actually execute code. So that right there, and you'll get the same thing. Python uses something called idle, I-D-L-E, and it's its own command prompt. So for example, if I went up here, and you could do it on Windows as well, I can type idle in, if I can spell right, and it will do the same thing. So it's its own command prompt that Python comes. So if you're running, so it's more of a preference thing. So if you prefer idle, you can type stuff here. Idle allows you to write code. So you can come in here and just do 4 times 4. It gives you a code. Idle is basically think of it as a test application that allows you to test your code. You can run code on the fly here. So like an easy statement in Python is just like print hello, something like that, and it prints the output. So you can run code here directly just to test it in Python and it works. And like I said, you could use terminal as well. So it's just all preference, whatever you like. All right, so that.
I have a question real quick.
Please go ahead.
You use the terminal for your Mac system. So what about the PC system or Windows?
You can use idle or you can use command prompt.
Oh, okay. I thought I have to go to use Buddy or something.
No, you can use CMD.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so that's Python. The next thing is you need an editor. There's 1,000 editors out there, but the one I'm using, I used to use PyCharm, and PyCharm is pretty good. They have a free version, and then they have one that you can actually download. So when I did this for my class, we got the full license for students for a year. But Mark told me about this one. I started using it. It's also free. It's called Anaconda Python. If you come out to Anaconda, it's also it's a free open source. Like I said, I won't walk through how to download it. I think at this point, everyone will figure out how to download it, just to save time. So you just go to get started, install Anaconda, and then you would just click download. So it has a bunch of different packages. I will show you how to use it, but the one that we're going to be using is called Spider. And Spider, so you see they have a different bunch of packages. So this tool is used for what data scientists primarily use. This might be something they use, but this is what it's more geared for, data scientists. But for what we're doing, we could use it as well. Spider is pretty powerful. It comes with its own command line interface, so we don't have to run out and use DOS or use terminal. We can just run everything in there, write our code, run it, whatever. So that's the second thing that we want to do, is download Anaconda. Any questions at this point? All right, let's say that is a no. Wait a second.
Jeff, are you recording this?
Yes, is that okay?
Yeah, please. I just want to make sure because it doesn't show me if it's recording or not.
I hope it's recording. I'll be mad. Yeah, if you're recording this session.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'd have been mad if it wasn't recording. All right. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to install some packages. So another thing is just like George sees other stuff. So we have to install packages. These packages are similar to when you install packages through gel account, but they use so one of the things that you have to do is get to install. Oh geez. Oh yeah, get to install pip first. I don't think it'll hurt if I try to install it because I already have it installed, but I'll just show you what I mean. So if I go to terminal, so once again you can do this in Mac DOS. So you would just come here and do sudo easy install, maybe, .pip. So I already have it installed. It shouldn't hurt anything. I hope not. Yeah, so it mentions searching for pip, best match, processing files finished. Now I already had it installed, but anyways, this is how you install it. So this right here is like installing the gel package thing for the first time. So that way you could go and install other things. So the next thing that you'll need to install, I'll clear this, and I'm not going to install it because I already have it, but maybe I will for the hell of it. If you do pip install, we're going to do I can't even talk. Cryptography. Yeah, tongue twister. And it's just like that. So I already had it installed. But the thing is, even if you want to update it, you can update it. The next thing is we're going to use this AES. And these are terms that you learn this week in the chapter. That's an encryption. So it said already satisfied because it's already there. If it wasn't, I would just bring it up. Also install crypto. So I already had it there, so I'm hoping it didn't mess me up. And then lastly is we're going to do install on Cypher. So these are just, sorry, George, you're not seeing this. These are just terms that allows us to install certain modules. So one of the things is, like, so everyone here has had Node.js, right? Or had some exposure to Node.js? Yeah, no. Well, anyways,
No.
either way, when you're importing a library in programming, and I use Node.js as one because there's a lot of importing of modules and files and so forth. When you're importing these modules, you're doing it at the JavaScript level. So what we did right there is we imported modules that we're going to use in our Python. So it's a little bit different. You'll declare the import in your code, but in order to download, it's like just like gel. Okay, for example, that's a perfect example. You run MySQL for the first time. What do you have to do? You have to install a package. So this is kind of similar. We have to install the module, aka package, before we actually write the code. So if we declare that module in the code, then it will not work because it can't find that library. If that makes sense. Does that make any sense? It's like any programming language that you did before. If you don't have the library, then you won't be able to find it. You just have to download it and then declare it. All right, hopefully I'm not losing you guys. Maybe I've already lost you.
I'm still here.
No, I didn't mean that way.
Oh, okay.
I meant literally. All right, so let me minimize these guys here. Minimize, and I gotta find my Anaconda. I want to say my eyes have gotten better because this is really small. I mean, this is really small. All right, so spider web right here. I don't know what this would look like because I'm on a smaller screen. So let me close this. And I'll close this. Nope. And if you right click on it here, you could do clear console. And this up here just has a bunch of stuff up here I don't really need. So I'm just going to hide it up there. So this over here is my console. So all my code that I type over here will save in here. It automatically saves it to entitle, but once you save it as, like if I do a, oops. Ah, my God. All right, so save, you can save it to whatever at that point. So this one right here, I'm just going to walk through some basic stuff real quick just to give you, like I mentioned, the print thing. So if I did print hello, just like that, and hit enter, it just saves the code there. So that's the code right there, but if I want to run it, I have a couple ways. I could just run it and click the run file, and it runs over here and just says hello. Or you could just highlight it like MySQL, and you could even right click on it and run cell, and it'll run the code as well. So there's a couple different ways that you can run the source code. That's just one of them. So if you do a pound here, it'll comment the code out. If I run it, it shouldn't do anything. Yeah, there's something there. So I'm going to clear it real quick. Any questions at all? Python is actually one of the easiest programming languages to learn, actually. It is very powerful. It's a scripting language, so it also is a programming language that you could use to develop a website too, believe it or not. That's what's so nice about it. You could develop a website with it. You could develop an application that you can install on a computer. That it can be, and it's just like Java. It can be installed on any platform, which makes it incredibly easy to use. The first time I used it was like in 2005. I worked for a software company, and they were using a lot of. We had a process that was written, front end was written in Java, and we used it for all our clients. And so usually when the front end was down, usually about 90% was down, so we used the back end, which was all Unix script. But a lot of our processing file was written in shell script. We had a lot of problems with it. So a friend of me and another guy I worked with, we introduced the idea of using Python. We just learned it. We've probably known it for like 2 months. So I wouldn't say we were good at it. We just knew it worked. And so we introduced the idea of using Python on the processor files. And once they learned that we were, like for example, when the server would go down, like I said, Apache would go down like every day. And it would be down for 6 hours. So there's files that we had to process for our clients, and we'd run them on Unix. And typically, in a 6-hour day, it would take extra long. It would be longer. And it would take anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. So by doing Python, we were able to take that 12 hours and bind it down within like 20 minutes. It was insane. I mean, it took a while to get to that. I didn't write the code overnight, but we were able to use a more powerful language to do more powerful things. And that, I didn't get a raise out of that at all, but it just allowed us to get other work done as well. So you'll find out when you work in the industry that you find quicker ways of doing stuff. Sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes it's not. Any questions on that? All right, so I'm just going to show some basic stuff right now. I'm not sure how much we'll get through. But what we get through is what you'll, so like part of your homework assignment for week one is, one of it is more research. And then the second one is following this video and getting this stuff done. Now, I want to get a lot of stuff done, but I probably won't. So what I'll do is, if you don't get it done, I'll include it in next week's work, so that we'll figure something out. So whatever I get done tonight, that'll be part of your homework assignment following. But for next week, I know that we're talking about something else. I might change it to the following week and talk more about cryptology, because I think there's a lot to it that I think I won't even have enough time to talk about, because there's a lot of cool stuff that I would like to talk about. But anyways, getting on with the show. This one right here is going to be more of showing you how to use an input string. So I could set up a variable called alpha, so alphabets, for example, and I could put equals, and just to show you an example, I could put this right here. I could put the alphabet, G, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, I. Then that might have been more interesting if that happened last night. All right, so here we go. So now I'll put, I'll just, as you see, there's no correlation of how things are done. So I'll put string input equals, and I'll put input. And just in strings, I'll just, in parentheses, I'll put enter string right here. Something like that. And then I'll do a print statement. So maybe like print hello space, very simple stuff, very similar to if you're using JavaScript. A lot of stuff is pretty much the same. So we'll put input. Oops, wrong. I'm already on my print statement. Hold on. So we have string input, which is fine. All right, never mind. I'll put hello, and then I'll put plus string input right here. Like that. Just like that. So pretty simple stuff. All it's doing here is, right now we're using alphabet. We'll use it later on. So really it's not really needed here. But we're just going to run this guy right here. It has an input, just a console. I'll say, my name is Ralph. Hit enter. Hello, Ralph. Pretty simple stuff. Nothing rocket science at all. And that's how it's worked out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add, and why we're doing this is because we're going to use this in security stuff. And I plan on getting to it, at least some of it. I probably won't get to all of it, but some of it. All right, so now we want to learn how to define the length of something. So what I could do here is I could probably change this up a little bit and come down here and just put input length equals, and I'll put len, and that's the len is the function, the function that we're going to call. And then what we'll do is we'll pass in our string input right here. So we do the string input just like that. And then we could do a couple things. We could say hello input, and then we can even come down here and say print the length of the string is, and then we could just put input length. Yeah, like that. Cool. And I could run this code right here, and all we got to put something here. So anyone know how to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? I don't either, so we'll start there. All right, so something blew up. Only accelerate, not end. All right, so what did I do wrong? On 18. All right, that's spelled wrong. Oh, I'm an idiot. So we have to do string input here. We don't need this anymore, so I'll hashtag it out for now. That's it. Alright, so we'll do Steelers, Titans. Alright, so length of the string is Steelers, Titans. That's wrong. Alright, give me a second here. I should have been input left. Alright, give me a second. Alright, what am I doing here? String input equals input enter string. Got that right. Input length equals len string input. That's right. And then point, oh, you know what? Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. So let's do this. I don't think I have to do that, but honestly, this would make a difference if I just put input length. Oh, because it's picking up as a text base. Why? Yeah. Alright. Because. Okay, so I couldn't see. Here's the thing. I wasn't able to do what I was doing before because Python didn't like that. So I was doing this here. No, I didn't like it though. Because I was concatenating a string and a number together, and it doesn't like that. So yeah, see that? So in this case right here, you have to use something else. I can't remember what you have to use there. I'll have to look at that. But in the meantime, I'll hashtag that out. This right here will give us our length. Any questions on this? So we have two things going here. Right now we just did the length. So we figured out what the length was. I'm going to save this. And we'll just say find my length. And py for Python. All right, so I'm going to click a new file. And this one right here is going to be a little bit different. So actually, let me go back to here real quick. And I'm going to copy this code. So alphabet, the string input, input length we're going to use. So they used to write the code all over again. So I'm going to paste it there. And then for the input length, I'm going to take the string input equals like that. So we're just clearing the code. Now we're going to write a loop here, range, and we're going to put the input length. Oops, there we go. And then it's important to have a colon here because if you don't have the colon, it doesn't know how to execute. It doesn't know how to execute the code. So then we'll do character equals the string input. You guys like programming, right? Scripting. We won't say it's programming. So I'll do location of character. You can name this anything, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we're just trying to identify where the character is at. So we're going to change this name right here to alpha. And then we're going to put alpha right here. And we're going to do, in the square brackets, we're going to do new location. No, hold on. I'm off this topic here. We do alpha dot, we have to find a character first. So let's do this, alpha dot find, and then we want to do in parentheses character. Right there. So what we're doing here is, we have our input string that we're putting, so we'll say Steelers, for example. Then we get rid of we clear it out. We do a loop when we say I is our beginning and range. Range means it's like if you're doing for loop between 1 to 10, that's what the range is. And so we put the length, so let's say our length is 7. So it knows what it has to do. the character is grabbing the whatever that number is. So let's say it's 0 starts off. And then we find the location of character equals the alpha. It's using the characters up here to alphabet to find a certain character at this point. We haven't told it what to find yet. So we'll do new location equals location of character. And then, in this case right here, we're going to do +3 because we want it to go 3 over. So eventually we're going to encrypt a value and decrypt it and use 3 spaces. You could, on this space, you could do anything, but we'll just do 3 for now. I do semicolon here. And then I'll do string output. You know what? That actually won't work because we need to declare string output here instead of input, because that would have wiped out whatever my value is and it wouldn't work. I didn't catch that. And then we're going to do equals our alpha, and then we're going to put our new character, new location, sorry. Oops. Then we're going to print it. So we'll print encrypted text is, do that, and then we'll put our string output. Just like that. Now let's clear all this mumbo jumbo over here. So we have a clear. That's what's happening. All right. So just to recap, we're doing a loop. We're doing our character, which grabs our input. We create a variable called location of new character, and so we're using the alphabet here, and we're locating a character. And what it's doing is locating. We're defining what the length is, and we're locating a spot so that we could do the +3 at. You'll see what it means in a second here. So new location equals location of character +3. And then we have our string output equals the new location, and we just output it, so we'll see if it even works. So let's do string output ABC, enter. And you see how it worked? It showed you that the first position is D, and then the next position is DE and DEF. So we did on line 19, we defined that we needed to be 3 more characters for our length. So ABC is 3 characters long, and we wanted to do +3, which would be DEF. And what this does here is shows you why it loops through. It shows you which position is which in each time. Have I put anyone to sleep? Have I confused the heck out of anybody at this point?
I've been confused since 6:30.
Awesome. I actually did my job. No, I'm just kidding. Not trying to confuse you. Just trying to make heads or tails of what's happening.
No, I mean, I'm sure I'll get a grip on this eventually.
Yeah, you'll get this. This is well, here's the
Videos.
thing. I've been doing this for 20 years, 21 years, so 21 years ago I would have been the same way as you're feeling it now. Someone have a question? All right, so I won't throw a lot on you tonight.
Just a question about. I know you said we're not going to have class next weekend. Are you still available? I mean, for whatever reason, I'm going to need help eventually, I'm sure. Are you available for like tutoring sessions anytime early next week, or?
Yeah, I'll be here Monday. Tuesday, out in the afternoon, I'm flying out of Pittsburgh, so I'll not be available for 5 hours in flight. Because I'm headed to the West Coast, where everything's burning. So yeah, Tuesday would be a bad day, but any other day, just look at my calendar, or if there's no available, just shoot me an IM. I'll help you out still. I'll have my laptop with me. Yeah, so I mean, even though on Wednesday there's no physical class being recorded on broadcast, but there'll be a session. I mean, I'll have a video of me talking, going through stuff. But if you have questions, you're confused, you need help, reach out. I'll get with you and figure something out.
Is that lecture going to lead to an assignment?
What lecture?
The one that you're doing next week that we're watching.
It depends on how far you guys are behind, because I don't want to bury you. So what I'm thinking about doing is, instead of introducing something new, because I feel that we haven't even scraped the surface with this. And to me, personally, and this is the first time I've taught this class. So the other person that taught the class, I'm not 100% sure what he did. So this is the first time for me. So personally, we haven't scraped anything, so this might be a continued session for next week. But I'll let you know after today. I got to think about it because there's a lot of stuff that I'm not even going to be able to touch, and I think it should be a continued session. So if that is the case, anything that's due next Wednesday will be due the following week. So I'll let you know when I think about it today and tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for sure. So I'll actually end there because what I'm going to get into next will be another video which you'll have. We're going to talk about symmetric encryption. So we'll write more code with encryption and decryption. So let's do this. Let me ask everyone here who right now feels kind of burnt out. All right, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have a lot of catching up because we're getting caught up with the Snort and the Wireshark and the Amazon Web Services, and I feel that some of us are still drifting back. I think if I introduce something new, it'll just get more complicated. So let's do this. Any assignment that's out there currently right now is due for October 7th, but I'll change it to October 14th. I think that is that Wednesday. So what I'll do is I'll still do another Teams video like this, and I'll walk through the rest of my lab that I did not talk about. So one of the things I was going to talk about is symmetric encryption, and it's talking about getting a key, how to store keys, how to read keys, how to generate a key from a password, encrypting and decrypting, and some other stuff that goes along with that. I just feel that we will never get to that today, and that'll be part of the assignment that we haven't got to yet. But I think right now I've kind of laid a lot on you, and so within the next couple of days, you'll see some more lab videos out there, which will be the continuance of this, and then also one that does the lecture, because then I could talk a little bit more about what's going on. Does that seem fair to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, of course.
Be vocal with me. Be honest. That's instead of you guys doing a review at the end of the semester, say, man, we only touched the surface of stuff, and we were just breezing through stuff, and I couldn't catch up, and it was bad. Be honest with me, because this is the first time I've taught this. I taught a security class that was a little bit different at CCAC in the past, and it wasn't like this. So it was a lot different. It was a different security class. It was more network-related stuff, doing stuff on the network versus digital security. This stuff's fun to me. So I want to make it beneficial to everybody who's learning something here. So let's say we'll continue this discussion. So then when we have class in 2 weeks, the 14th, I think it's the 14th, 13th, 14th, whatever day that is, then we'll be able to introduce something new. Because by that time, we'll have our Amazon Web Services, we'll have our Snort, we'll have all that stuff figured out. We'll have this figured out, and then we could actually take all this stuff that we've already learned, and have in place, and we can start utilizing it as we move forward. Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
No.
I have a question real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
but I need to share my screen with you if I can be.
All right, just give me a second to end this session here.
Sure.
So I'm going to end this recording.